Hey guys, back with another video. This time I am going to run down the uh, AL East and AL West deals from the past week. Minor deals, not huge deals. Sorry about that. But, so, you know what to do. Like the video below, subscribe to the channel, comment on what you think, and trying to get to 50 subscribers by the end of the week and 20 likes on the video. So help us out, help me out. And yeah, so let's get into it. So the Angels signed Julio Teheran to a 1-year, $9 million deal. So, this continues their, I guess, route to surrounding Trout with the needed talent to get to the playoffs and potentially win a World Series one day. And, it's like I've said before in the Rendon video and in other videos, he needed the help. They owed it to him to finally surround him with some help. And one of the big areas they needed help was pitching. So they missed out on Cole, they missed out on Strasburg, they missed out on Bumgarner, they missed out on Ryu. So they got Bundy earlier in the season on a buy low sort of deal. And now they're sort of doing the same with Julio Teheran. Because the Angels signed Julio Teheran to a 1-year, $9 million deal. Now, Teheran's been sort of up and down and, he hasn't really lived up to his potential on the Braves, but he's had some good years and, his peripherals kind of show that he should be, that maybe he's outperforming himself, but who knows? Maybe the Angels could unlock something because he has shown flashes of his potential. So we'll see. But it's a 1-year deal, $9 million. Not too big of a commitment. He should be a fourth starter at the worst. So maybe a fifth starter, but he shouldn't be too much worse than that. So, and he's in innings. You could rely on him for innings. So I think it's a good deal all around. The Angels have brought back Martin Maldonado to a 2-year, $7 million deal. I mean, this the fine deal. They need, he's gonna sort of platoon at catcher with Chirinos, and so I mean it's a fine deal for them. He worked with them last year, so who knows? I think the deal's fine. And so to round out the AL West, Uh, Long-time Texas Ranger, and he's floated around with a bunch of teams since then. But Ian Kinsler has retired. Now, I mean, for a while there, Ian Kinsler was like one of the best second basemen in the league. So, but he sort of took a hard downturn, I guess, that towards the end of his career, like not a gracious decline, not a gracious decline. So, it was time for him to retire, probably, but it's hard to see a guy like that go. So, but I mean, he had a better career than most Major League Baseball players could say. So, good for him. He's not going to make the Hall of Fame or anything, but, maybe the Rangers do something to honor him. I don't know. We'll see. But so moving on to the AL East. The Toronto Blue Jays have signed Shun Yamaguchi to a 2-year deal around $6 million total. He's 32. He's obviously from Japan, one of the international free agents from over there. He's actually a really interesting pitcher because he's 32, so he's not young, but he's still got a couple of years in him. He has a forkball, which is very rare. I mean, I don't know of many pitchers that have a forkball in their repertoire. So last season he had a 2.91 ERA, 10 strikeouts for 9 innings, 3.2 walks for 9 innings, and in 170 pitches, in 170 innings pitched. Wow. So, all those numbers are going to change a little. He'll probably pitch around 170 innings again. When guys come over from Japan, because in Japan they pitch every week, I think. So, when they first come over, major league teams usually like to keep them on that schedule, kind of. So they'll give them the off day when needed or when they can. Like with Hyun-Jin Ryu last year, he started 29 games, but he wasn't injured. So it's not like the Dodgers just skipped a couple of his starts. And I could see the Blue Jays doing that, especially because they're not going to compete. But so I really like the signing. They could easily trade him at the deadline or in the off season if they wanted to, because he barely has any contract. He's barely making any money, and I mean, I would expect him to have an ERA around 4. I mean, let's say an ERA around 4, probably, add a run to his ERA. And, like, they don't need to hold on to a 32-year-old pitcher if he's pitching really well and he's drawing interest. And, pick up a good prospect or two for him. Yeah. So next, the Blue Jays have signed Travis Shaw to a 1-year, $4 million deal. So, I like this deal too. Travis Shaw has had a couple of good years. He wasn't very good last year, but at 1 year, $4 million, it's a no-brainer, really. And, for the Blue Jays, they're definitely hoping he regains form. And, but even if he doesn't, it's not a burden to them. But yeah, so moving on, the Red Sox have signed Martin Perez to a 1-year, $6 million deal. The Red Sox, they, I don't know what to make with them because they have a good offense. Sale could be really good. Can Price reinvent himself if they don't trade him? Because I doubt whether they're going to find a trading partner. The real thing is Dombrowski kind of screwed them with his trade all your prospects philosophy. Trade all your prospects for veterans is not a good philosophy because, it may win you a World Series, but then it sets you back and you have to rebuild. And it's just like you need that balance. Like the Rays have a perfect balance. The Yankees are developing that balance right over the past few years. They had to miss the playoffs a couple of times, but now they have a really deep farm system and they have a really good team. So as long as they can develop, they can replenish that team as guys get older and they decline. And the Red Sox are kind of in a pickle right now. So that's why I think you're hearing about, do they trade Mookie Betts? Because, they were under 500 last year. They weren't very good. And Betts is a free agent after this year. And while they wouldn't normally trade him, they wouldn't normally be looking to trade him, they kind of, by trading him, they would be able to replenish that farm in one move. They could get 4 or 5. Well, they could get 2 really good prospects and then another 2 or 3 good prospects. So, and then, who knows what they do, but but again, the other thing is the Red Sox have a really high payroll, and I don't know. The rumor was that one of the reasons they were thinking of trading Betts is to help them get under that threshold. And I guess they still have to field a team, so $6 million is pretty cheap for a pitcher. So, we'll see. I don't love Perez. He's never really done anything. So for $6 million, it's about right. I think that's like the value you could expect from him. So, but I mean, like a 1 year deal, I can't really fault teams for 1 year deals. You know, it's a very good gamble for 1 year deals. But so remember when we're gonna move on to the Yankees now. But remember when I had said that the Yankees designate, or I guess I don't remember if I did say it in a previous video, but I don't know. But the Yankees have designated Chance Adams to make room for Garrett Cole on their 40-man roster. So, they had to, their 40-man roster was full, so they had to designate someone to make room for Garrett Cole, to sign Garrett Cole, to officially sign Garrett Cole. And they decided to designate Chance Adams. Now, when I first heard this, I really did not understand it because it wasn't that long ago. It was only a couple of years ago that I think even entering this year, it was like Chance Adams was looked at as one of the Yankees' top pitching prospects. So, I mean, it's just strange that they would do this. And I mean, looking at the Yankees' 40-man roster, it's surprisingly crowded, I would say. Usually there are a couple of guys that you'd be like, well, cut this guy. He's clearly just depth and you could easily replace him. But, really it's primarily top prospects and their 25-man roster. Now, I mean, personally, I would have I would have designated someone like Stephen Tarpley, who was not good out of the bullpen last year at all. And I mean, guys like that are all over your AAA roster. Like, you could just call up some guy like that. But, maybe, I mean, over the past few years, I've come to trust the Yankees farm system, so they probably decided that Chance Adams was a lost cause and that he wasn't going to be much more than a middle reliever, and they figured let him go, And so they did that. And interestingly enough, they were able to trade him to the Royals for 21-year-old shortstop Christian Perez. Now, actually, I forgot I should have looked this up before. But so, I mean, usually when players are designated, they get, I think it's happened a couple of times before where I've mentioned guys that get designated and then they get traded, and it was usually it's for cash. Not a lot of money. You know, I mean, probably just like a, I don't even maybe like salary. Like to cover uh like a couple of minor league salaries. I can't imagine the cash would be a lot. And I doubt whether they're, usually if it's international bonus pool money, it says that, So, but like I was saying, when they decided to designate Chance Adams, that I've been trusting, that I've learned to trust Yankees farm system, or their scouts and stuff. The same goes for them acquiring prospects. They've been pretty spot on in acquiring prospects. So let me, so I mean so in the Cleveland Indians deal where they traded Andrew Miller, they got back Clint Frazier and Justice Sheffield, who, Justice Sheffield, they traded for Paxton. So, and I mean, Clint Frazier is still, toying around. I don't like what they're doing with him, but, we'll see. And it's funny though, because when the Yankees traded Chapman to the Cubs, they got back, the big player they got back was Gleyber Torres. And the rumor was that they had the choice of a package surrounding Gleyber Torres or a package surrounding Eloy Jimenez. And it was basically a pick-em. The secondary players, I don't think would have changed. And, that's kind of, people were questioning it because at the time, Jimenez was higher ranked. And but I mean, right now, Gleyber Torres has been amazing. I mean, Eloy Jimenez looks to be a very good player too, but given that Torres plays shortstop and he can play second base, and Jimenez is a corner outfielder, and even if they're comparable offensively, Torres is a better player. So I think, even in that case, they made the right decision. And, one of the things right now going around is like when the Yankees give you give teams a prospect or agree to send a prospect in return, it's always like, uh-oh, what's wrong with the prospect? Like, when do the Yankees know that you don't know? So, I mean, maybe the Yankees see something in this guy. It's not, I'm looking at it coming into the season, coming into last season, he was only like a fringe prospect, not even like a good, he doesn't really do anything. So I'm just trying to see if there's anything. He's an instinctive defender with some feel to hit. So I don't know. So I guess maybe they're hoping, I mean, he sounds like an interesting prospect that maybe with the right tutelage that they can get something out of him that maybe the Royals hadn't been able to. Because, I mean, he is still only 21, so he's still really young. But, I found that whole thing interesting. But, yeah, so that's it, guys. Like I said before, like the video below, hit that button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment below, give me your thoughts on the deals, and check out the website, theunusefulidiots.com. All the ways to support the channel is on there, and other information like social media and that stuff is also on there. And yeah, so that's it. And see you next time. Bye.